Every year about this time, Memorial Day, not just the day, but around Memorial Day, we reach out to our friends and one of our partners, Fisher House. They do a lot of good for some folks, and most of you probably know about Fisher House already. Our entire company, Clear Channel, partners with Fisher House. There are a lot of connections between the two, and it's one of the organizations I think that makes a real difference. I'm talking to Captain, United States Navy, retired, Brian Gaughan, Captain Gaughan. He's been with Fisher House since 2010. He served 28 years in the United States Navy. Captain Gaughan, glad to have you with us.
Hey, it's my pleasure today, Michael.
Now, what do you do for Fisher House?
Well, I'm the Vice President of Operations, which means that thing on your resume that says, and other jobs as required.
Right. Chief bottle washer?
Everything, yeah, you name it.
What does the Fisher House do? What do people need to know that you folks do?
The key thing is we provide a place for families to stay when their loved one is receiving extended hospitalization at a VA or military medical center. If you wanted to think of the Ronald McDonald House for the military or the VA, that's essentially what we do.
Is that only for active duty?
No. We have houses. We have 60 houses. 2 of those are in Landstuhl, Germany, the first place a service member would go if they were being taken out of theater from Iraq or Afghanistan and being treated for their injuries. And then we have 58 houses in the States, all over the country. Of those, 23 houses are at VA hospitals that treat veterans, and then the remainder are at military hospitals.
You have I know you have a house or several in San Antonio. Our WOAI listeners always pitch in for that.
That's right. In fact, we have 4 houses at Brooke Army Medical Center, one of the most important medical centers in the country. We've got 3 at Lackland Air Force Base, and we just built a brand new one at the Audie Murphy Medical Center, which is a VA polytrauma center. There's only 5 of those in the country. One of them's there in San Antonio. Those are one of our most important houses.
And I know our station there, WOAI, was very involved in helping y'all with that, and I would get constant updates. It's a great program. 19,000 families you served last year.
Yeah, and some of those were just for a night as a service member or a veteran was being treated, and some of those stayed the entire year. You know, I think our record is we've had a family down in Tampa with a traumatic brain injury that has been there receiving treatment on and off and traveling for that for over 3 years.
Wow.
And that's all free.
And these are folks that need it. And that was my next question. The Fisher House is sort of the Ronald McDonald House for veterans and for active duty folks. How much does it cost them to stay at the Fisher House?
It doesn't cost a thing. It's all covered through donations from the American public. You know, it's our way of showing our appreciation to those who served, and that goes from the 91-year-old World War II veteran that's being treated at a VA medical center, or the 19-year-old soldier that's injured in Iraq or Afghanistan, to the 9-year-old child of a military couple who has leukemia. If they're being treated at a VA or a military medical center, their family is entitled to stay at the Fisher House.
If you're interested, folks, Fisher House has a website. It's fisherhouse.org. It's a legitimate organization. They spend the money on our veterans and their families. They do good work. It's very honorable. They get great reviews by the nonprofit reviewers. You also have some other programs like the Hero Miles program. Tell people about that, because I think a lot of people could help you and really the veterans with this.
You know, that's one of those where it doesn't cost anybody out of pocket really anything. People can donate their frequent flyer miles. And, you know, everybody, often if you fly, maybe you just have a few, not enough for a free flight. But if you give them to us, we can consolidate all those miles. They never expire. And then cumulatively, we use those to fly families to the bedside of wounded, injured, and ill service members. Last month, we helped 1,400 people with plane tickets. And if you do the math, because these are short notice, you don't plan on getting sick, you don't schedule that in advance, and we can adjust those tickets if we need to, that equates to about $2 million we saved people in transportation just last month so they could be by their loved one when they're receiving treatment.
Well, and a guy gets wounded, he wants his girl there with him. I mean, he wants to see her. He wants to see his kids. That helps him recuperate. It's like giving blood. People want to give something. This is one of those things that won't cost you dollars. You can convert your frequent flyer miles, and these folks, through the Hero Miles program, put them to good use. I can assure you of that. Well, Captain Brian Gaughan, thank you for the work you do. Thank you to Fisher House for the work you do, and I know our listeners will, as always, respond.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks to your listeners for all they do. God bless you, and happy Memorial Day.
Yes, sir. FisherHouse.org to learn more. FisherHouse.org.